and playing out your, trauma drama of your past and all these things? Or are you going to go on the road of uncertainty where you may not understand exactly what it's going to look like, but you get to create and connect to the deepest part of you, which is your soul and your intuition? And that moment for me was so scary. I mean, it was so incredibly defining. And after doing spiritual work and leading, thousands of other women through all these, types of initiations, this was my deepest one yet, because it meant giving up my, Instagram life, if you will, like the image, of who I was.
So, Dawn, I gotta commend you. I'm gonna pay tribute to you. You are one of the most honest. Everybody has been amazing in the podcast, but the humility of your sharing, the depth of where you are coming from right now, and the honesty is so raw.
Thank you.
And afraid of giving up. I love how you put it, the Instagram live. It's so epic.
Yeah, because we all want to look to the outside like we have it all together. And for me, I was really, because of my parents getting divorced really early on in my childhood, I think I was fighting for so long to have this perfect family and presenting that to the world when it really wasn't perfect. And when I came to accept that, it allowed me to accept myself, because what I was resisting was really, this deeper opportunity to really fiercely love me without all the identities and ways of being seen in the outside world.
Wow. Deeper. Can you repeat that? You were resisting the opportunity to love yourself deeper without
the identities. Yeah.
The identities done. I mean, everybody, this is a moment of pause the podcast, write that down, and just sit with this. Is, I was reading a book this morning, Dawn, that I'm going to do a podcast eventually about this. This is the best book I've read all of my life. And I've read great books.
Really?
Autobiography of a Yogi, James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, incredible books. Emerson. I think I'm in a stage in my life that, the wisdom finds me because I'm so much more committed to it. But something that I read today in this book, I'm not going to say the name because I want to do a podcast about it, but it's about the difference. And I'm going to do I'm going to put a video. By the time that this podcast comes out, the video will be out there, which is the difference between living wisdom and dead wisdom.
Ooh.
What you are sharing, Dawn, right now is living wisdom. It's a wisdom based on experience, on initiation, on creating our personal myth of feeling everything and being so open and truthful, sharing our fears, our vulnerability, yet taking ownership. That becomes living wisdom for others. While as that wisdom is like the parade, like the Photoshop, like the Instagram live, hey, this is the perfect family, the perfect marriage, and in the back, in the background of life, you are falling apart. So I just wanted to add that because you are sharing right now living wisdom you have lived through, suffer from, rise from, and thrived from. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think too many of us are afraid to really show who we really are. And I think part of the new, type of leadership that needs to be on this planet, when people talk about 5D, it's not just about ascending, the planet, it's also ascending in how we show up. And I think there is such a deep, strength in being vulnerable and realizing we all have a story. I mean, I started off doing intuitive healing sessions for years before I, morphed my business into coaching and running, different groups and masterminds and all that stuff. And the thing that I always learned about people is everybody has a story. The difference between what's, when a person becomes a co-creator or when somebody is a victim of their story is that choice point of am I going to take responsibility for everything that's happening and really own it so I can learn and not keep repeating this lesson? Or am I going to just kind of, numb out to this and pretend it's not really happening? And I saw that so many times. And so I really believe that it's so important that we're not just loving like the good parts of ourselves that we want to show up on, on social media, or that we like, are at a dinner party, let's just say, and we're just, hey, look at me. These are all the good parts. But what about the parts of us that we're ashamed of, or that, are, more, in the depths of our shadows? Like those parts of ourselves we need to own and love too, because then we become such embodied, like whole beings, and that becomes, then we become a transmission of energy for other people, and a frequency that they can feel, versus just speaking from this intellectual vacuum of like, oh yeah, this concept sounds great. Because spirituality, to me, at least, being a leader, a divine feminine leader, is that you're not just sitting in a monastery. I wish I could sit in a monastery and just meditate all day and pray to God. I wish I someday I will do that.
Okay, you're talking about me right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to do that. That's my dream. But like right now, I'm like knee deep in like parenting and, doing dishes and trying to exercise and run a business and do all these things. And I'm like, how do I get to be spiritual in the mediocrity sometimes of life? And when things get really difficult, how do I get to show up for myself and still thrive, past, during these times of difficulty or struggle, and really rewiring my neural pathways to realize like it's all part of the spiritual journey. It's all part of getting to lead and to thrive. But I do want to go sit in a monastery and meditate. That would be so amazing.
I'm about to go for a weekend in there.
Oh, my God.
You're welcome to come with me every weekend as long.
I might have to take you up on that offer, because I now have every other weekend free. So I'm going to have to come do that with you sometime.
Oh, you can come, and we'll have a tea ceremony. We'll go meditate, and probably we'll do some work, because I don't see us, always living in a monastery, you and I. We're like such creators. But, I love what you're sharing, Dawn. I love the authenticity of your share. I know the invitation, the call to action for others to share everything they are. I love what you said about the shadow. I'm a believer that without the darkness, we cannot really take ownership of our light. Mm-hmm. It's like the lotus flower, the symbol of enlightenment. Without the mud, you wouldn't appreciate the lotus. You wouldn't be with such ecstatic expectation of waiting for the lotus to bloom out of the mud every day. I remember when I was in Bali, we were in a beautiful hotel. And we used to go to this little restaurant close by to the hotel that was from the locals, that the vegan food was extraordinary. But the attraction of that restaurant was that they will open at the time where the lotus will bloom. So they will serve all these dishes and everything. And through the process of the dinner that lasted like 2 hours, you could witness it was the dance of the lotus flower, the emerging from the mud. And later on at night, it will go back to the dark. So it's such a powerful metaphor for enlightenment and majesty. So Dawn, share. So all of this work, all of the initiation, it's evident by your transmission of what you are sharing, of your expertise. Tell us how you are serving women out there, how you are serving them lead with their feminine leadership. Tell us about your programs. Be unapologetic. Give it your all to us so people can know how you can serve them.
That's such a fun topic. Thank you for asking. Right now, my passion project is Majesty Mastermind, and it's really for leaders who want to step into their next level of leadership. Like they've maybe, they're out there, they're doing their own business, or they're doing something out in the world, and they are ready to step into their own, unique level of mastery within themselves. And the way I go about it is I have different areas that I love to focus on, but one is really like clearing up the past. I am trauma informed and certified, and so I love to kind of help people get very clear on those patterns that they keep, looping in and showing up in, and sometimes it's it's in our subconscious. So working on all of that, because as I shared earlier, that, affected me in my own initiations in my life. So it's so helpful to be able to release and make peace with the past and come into, I almost want to call it like the acceptance experience, because it is such an experience.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, to accept our past.
Acceptance experience. Wow.
Yeah, because I want, part of one of my visions is that these, the women that, when they graduate from this, they are so embodied in a sense that, knowing that there's always going to be more initiations, but that they have everything within them to move through it with grace. And so another part of it is really stepping into futuring, because I fell in love with, what we learned in our futuring certification. And it, out of all the programs I've taken, I've studied in so many different modalities in my life, in my business. Futuring, hands down, shifted my life faster than anything ever has. So it would be...
I witness it.
Yeah.
For me too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be an injustice.
What happens is the future is the real, the futuring, as we have learned it, you and I, is the realm of fate.
Oh, yeah.
It's not really a point on time. That's the challenge sometimes. I've been educating just the concept of futuring for more than 10 years. So for me to be able to deliver the trainings, but obviously the futurist, like you are right, but truly futuring is the realm of faith, the realm of infinite possibilities. And Louise Hay used to speak about it like total possibilities, not only infinite. She said, let's bring it to a next level. Let's put it as the possibilities of totality. Let's just not think, I'm going to choose this or that infinite possibility. Let's choose them all. So we're stepping into something that as soon as we step in is the realm of risk, is the realm of leaving behind, as you so masterfully are sharing the past. I love that you added acceptance and understanding there. Wow. But it will accelerate everything because it will remove your addiction to the past.
Yes. And I think that is so important because, in this mastermind I do, it's a year-long program, and I don't want to just sit in the past. I want them to have awareness, use it, like you say, as a reference point, but not to like anchor in and stay, looping in those stories. Then, kind of bringing in the futuring element and teaching them a little bit about that. Because I really believe if somebody loves manifesting and creating a new, co-creating a new life, like futuring's the next level of that, right? It's deeper than just like pure manifestation.
Yeah, but what I love, Dawn, that you are a certified facilitator of this, and now you're bringing it into your programs, and you have the business aspect, the quantum healing aspect, the metaphysical, the physical, you are incredible for delivery. I see your products, your projects. It's just Majesty, right? So it's so exciting for me to know that the women that work with you and the mastermind of Majesty includes this such important aspect where it will help them being like stopping the addiction to the past.
Yes, because
it's like, wow, that just right there to solve that problem for people. Honor the past, get the best of the past, but if they are still addicted, they will not be able to step into their majesty. I'm so glad that you are doing this and guiding people and holding this queendom called the Majesty Mastermind for them. So it's incredible. So is it open for people, or how
it is?
Times.
It's going to be opening in March, and there's going to...
So when people listen to this podcast, it's probably, we don't know, we'll try to put it before, but if you listen to this podcast and it's after March, go find Dawn anyways, because she will have the openings of the mastermind, right? How many times a year will you be opening this?
I think I'm going to keep it where almost every 3 months I'm going to reopen it and just have it be something I'm constantly, because there's going to be 4 quarters. So it'll be like the acceptance experience of the past, and then the futuring. There's going to be all about launching your next passion project or something in your business. And then there's going to be all the sacred leadership codes, bringing in all the intuition and all that kind of stuff, and the channeling and the quantum healing arts.
Kind of stuff which you are an expert of, by the way, everyone. It's not only stuff, it is incredible portals of transforming your life into majesty. And not the majesty of the word, just like to fluff our ego, the majesty of our soul. The way Dawn is sharing with so much humbleness, humility, certainty. She's an initiate. But I love, one of the things that got my attention in this podcast is how she's like, it's been all these challenges or initiations in her life have given her the earned right of being masterful. And I would love every woman out there to be unapologetic with their gifts like Dawn is, and with so much humility, Dawn. So you have the mastermind, which I love, that, I'm